Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, and today we will be discussing the 2018 movie Hellfest. And now, I'm not sure, but there may be spoilers ahead with the way I discuss it, so I'm going to put that out there, but I'm hoping that I don't. Anyways, let's just jump right into it, and, well, before I do that, sorry, there is something else I'd like to do. I'd like to thank those who liked and subscribed to my channel already. And for those of you who haven't, feel free to. I'm sure there's probably something on here that you'll like, that I've either talked about already or videos I've previously made that were actual videos I made of things mashed together, such as songs and shows. Now, on to the movie, as I stated. This movie came out in 2018. It is a horror slasher flick, though it isn't like most of them, in that it didn't follow the idea of, oh, we needed to kill off all these people and we needed as much blood as possible in order to make this film. It actually did really well at this, going back to the old ideas. Now, this film also, now let's get to the cast. The cast, a lot of them, I didn't see anything I recognized them for. This includes Cynthia Mercado, who in the movie, her name is credited as a different variation of her name, who plays the character of Jody. And then there's Stephen Conroy, who plays the character of the other, who, outside of this movie, is mainly known on any other movie he does for his stunt work. Amy Forsyth, who played Natalie, did a previous movie I discussed known as We Summon the Darkness. And in which she played the character of Beverly. It was actually, and I actually recommend you check out that video if you haven't seen it. But I also recommend you watch that movie, as it was a really good movie. Rain Edwards, who played the character of Brooke, was another one I didn't know anything outside of this movie. Bex Taylor-Klaus, who played the character of Taylor. This one, I knew when I first saw her in the movie, looked really familiar, though I couldn't place her at first. But I knew it because of her face and her hairstyle. And then I figured it out along the way. She was in the TV show Arrow as Sin. Another thing that other people might recognize her for, though, is she was on the TV show Scream, made from the horror movie, as a spinoff. And I don't get... Now, the Scream TV series, I wasn't a fan of, so I didn't watch enough of it to care. But an interesting note, her and Amy Forsyth both tried out for the same role on the show, according to certain notes I found. And Amy ended up not being able to do it, so Bex got the role. Next up was Christian James, who plays the character of Quinn. Again, nothing I could find. Same with the next person in line, Matt Mercurio, who plays Asher. And Robbie Attal, or Robbie Attal, I'm guessing on the proper pronunciation, plays the character of Gavin. He's on the Netflix series The Haunting of Bly Manor as the character of Edmund. But otherwise, when I looked up the credits for him, I couldn't find anything. The only reason I knew the Haunting of Bly House part is because I was actually wanting to see the follow-up to the Haunting of Hill House that they did. And apparently that's what the Haunting of Bly Manor is. It's the next one in line. Even though it's a different place and deal going on. Now, as for the plot of the movie, like I said, spoilers, but I'm trying not to give too much away. The idea is a group of friends attends this traveling carnival known as Hellfest. And while there, they are pursued by a person known as the Other. Which, as it turns out, there are multiple versions of this person inside the park. Even though the one that follows them is a certain one. Okay, now for some additional notes. Most of the decorations from this, that are used in this movie, are actually used from a real Fright Fest at the Six Flags in Georgia. Most of the characters are also from that same, are also from the Georgia attraction known as Netherworld, which is one of the top 10 haunted attractions in the U.S. And a lot of the cast, according to the sources I looked up, and I do this on multiple sources, IMDb, and then I check out other impressive notes that I find around the internet. Check on it. A number of the cast actually got together and before filming and started watching horror films. Also, the designer of Ghostface from Scream and Babyface from Happy Death Day, Tony Gardner, actually created the Others mask in this movie. And improv was actually encouraged in this movie, which actually helped in the scenes with Amy Forsyth's character and Robbie Attell, which is Natalie and Gavin. Now for my overall review. The good thing about this, it wasn't too much blood for a slasher film, as I said earlier. The body count is kept to a minimum. There were hints of comedy thrown in order to keep it from being in order to keep it from going to try and be too much of a horror film, but at the same time to keep it from getting boring. And it reaffirms the messages that we are taught about looks being deceiving. And you'll see what I mean when you watch the movie on that one. Now, the bad thing about it, the reason behind the killing doesn't make sense, and the thing is, it's never actually explained from what I saw. Although, what they said in the opening may be what it said, which is that some people are just born evil, and to me, that didn't make a lot of sense with it. And also, it made mention of an urban legend early in the film as a real thing, which is the body in the haunted house, where you go along the ride, or you go through the haunted house, and you see this skeleton or this person, depending on the version of the story you've heard. And it turns out it's actually a real person, not just some stage prop that was thrown in. And nobody knew it was real. Now, as for my grade on this film, the good outweighs the bad, but the bad did have a couple of good parts in it. I mean, did have the 2 good points to it, so I take it down a level. And for what I have to give it, I give my final grade for this movie a B minus for Hellfest. And my recommendation is watch it. You shouldn't be disappointed if you're a horror film fan. And if you're into slashers, you really shouldn't be. Unless you're one of those sick ones that actually really enjoys the idea of blood and gore, then you're not a slasher film fan, in my view. You're into a different section. But until next time, I'm out.